I'm not gonna try and explain what a soul is made of, because even we don't know.
Okay, to be completely honest, I might have done that on purpose, because yes, we are back, and it's part 5. I think it might even be the last one of the Spirit Science series on the souls. And that was just a hilarious way to start this video. You can't explain what souls are made of? Shocking. No, I'm serious. That he wouldn't actually just attempt to make up some bullshit about how it's made of, I don't know, candy floss or the cast-off remnants of packing material. Or my guess, if it turns out that they're real, discarded whiskey bottles. You know, because spirits.
It could be light, prana, chi, or something else entirely.
But never, ever, nothing? No, can't have that. This thing that I have no functioning model for is definitely a real thing that is real and not just endless streams of wishful thinking. I don't know, man. If I thought something existed and then found out that I had absolutely no, well, anything backing that up, I wouldn't assume that I just don't know what it is yet. I would assume that the thing does not exist at all, because that's the reasonable response to made up bullshit.
But if it exists in some other aspect or level of the physical world, it is arguably as much a part of the world around it as it is independent.
If it were some part of the world, we would have some way to know that, and know your feelings like a soul and real are not a way to know that. I mean, you only have the concept of a soul at all because someone or someones at some point made it up. If you had never been presented with the idea, you likely would never have come up with it on your own. And I imagine my life if you hadn't every single day. And I cry big salty tears of regret.
In other words, if it exists as a form or field of energy or idealistic material.
What the hell is an idealistic material when it's at home? You know, aside from the obvious bullshit. But the only thing I can think of when I picture an idealistic material is a very happy face cloth, who's just so into whatever's going on right now, because everything is gonna work out fine. What an asshole. Set that prick on fire is what I did. Not so idealistic now, are ya? Oh, thank you for making me warm. Ah!
It doesn't have a defined shape or position of awareness.
I swear to God this motherfucker writes his scripts using wisdomofchopra.com, which if you didn't know is a phrase generator that sounds eerily like the kind of shit Deepak Chopra says all the time. I mean, tell me he wouldn't have said, each of us opens a symbolic representation of abstract beauty, or the unpredictable fears, the barrier of silence, or even every cell in your body is eavesdropping on your thoughts. No, wait, he actually said that one. But that's the point, isn't it? It's supposed to be a joke, you fucking moron. Not a really smart ideas generator for the love of all that is whiskey.
Why would you need eyes that can only look in one direction?
I'm sorry to tell you, man, but there might be something wrong with your eyes if you can only see in one direction. There's this little thing that most people have called a field of view. You can actually see in a pretty goddamn wide arc. Otherwise, you would constantly be surprised by things as they came out of nowhere into your tiny visual range. Might need to see an ophthalmologist. I am on fire with big words recently.
When you are a being of pure energy connected to your environment that can perceive all 360 degrees simultaneously.
See, I get that he was trying to make a clever point about the difference between a thing that has omnidirectional awareness and basic human vision, but it's just wrong and dumb. And also, what difference would that actually make? Honestly, I think it would be more annoying than anything else. I mean, can you imagine trying to do something gross? You can't even close your third eye, you just have to watch as whatever you ate last night falls out of you. Disgusting.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I never know what you're fucking saying, Jordan. It's all these layers of incomprehensible nonsense that, well, it's supposed to sound clever and deep, but it fails at even doing that at a basic level. It's just a shitload of nothing. And one day, I hope you stop.
Like, why do you need ears if everything around you is already vibrating and you're a part of that field?
Oh, I fucking wish I didn't have goddamn ears. Then I wouldn't have had to heard that fucking asinine statement. Okay, so if you were a big pile of vibrating bullshit and everything else was also vibrating bullshit, then how the fuck would you be able to pass anything whatsoever? I mean, that's the thing about ears. They don't detect anything close to all the frequencies, and the ones that we do hear, well, that's what we call sound. If you heard everything, then you would hear nothing, because it would all be a cacophony of white noise. Again, you really do make this shit sound completely unbearable, which I guess is just normal for you. I mean, you have to live with you, after all.
Here's the real kicker. The concept of an astral body could be holding you back because it's confining your awareness to one location.
I thought astral bodies could go anywhere. Shows what I know. Turns out that they can only go where you already are and see the things that you already know about. How very useful. One might say that's because they don't reel and you're just looking at stuff based on memory. But we all know it's really because the infinite power of the universe extends to about 3 feet in any direction.
If the soul exists, it's a part of the universe around you, so you just need to become aware of it and direct it.
Soul! Use soul attack! What do you mean you can't do that? What do you mean you're not a real thing, so you can't have any impact on anything? What do you mean I'm talking to myself? What do you mean this is a Nando's and people are starting to look? What do you mean spend the night in a cell to sober up? Oh, it happened again, didn't it?
Think of it like an electrical current in a swimming pool.
Say what now? I'm not sure I like where this is going. Really, if anyone is going to electrocute a pool full of humans, it's gonna be me. And what do you mean he didn't actually say that? Well, what other possible reason would you have for electrifying your swimming pool and then sending out invitations to all your neighbours to a totally shocking pool party? Especially you, Frank. Which is a thing I would obviously never do, I'm just saying.
If you dropped a live wire into a pool of water, the entire thing would become electrically charged.
Okay, I think I know where he's going with this, and, well, there's a few problems with that as an analogy for being everywhere. It depends on the strength of the power source. A live wire could be from mains, but it could also come off of a small battery, and they will have very different scales of effects in the water. Also, electricity seeks the ground, so most of that electricity would immediately go straight out of the water and into the nearest thing attached to something grounding. Ultimately, this is just a terrible way to cook your pot of humans. I would instead recommend heating them from below, slowly like the lobotomized frogs they are.
The electricity plugs into the wider hole and becomes a part of the whole pool rather than being confined to one location.
Again, not really. Another thing to bear in mind, relatively pure water is actually not a very good conductor. Like, the main reason getting in that pool would be dangerous would not be because there's all the electricity everywhere, but because electricity will try to ground itself through you. And obviously a strong enough power source would do a lot of damage, especially to the old ticker. And apparently, you people need those to live. I've never needed one, don't even know what they're for.
And it might be the same idea with the soul.
What, that it's a stupid idea? Yeah, always nice when we agree on something, but yeah. No, terrible analogy. 1 out of 10. Please start researching your ideas for more than 0 seconds before doing a YouTube and embarrassing not only yourself, but all of mankind. You don't need to be giving the aliens more reasons to clean you up, goddammit.
Once our awareness exists independent of our body,
I mean, I can only assume that your brain exists independent of your body, if you ever had one in the first place. It would explain why you're able to spout this shit without that bit of your brain that stops you saying stupid crap, immediately going into hyperdrive and punching you repeatedly in the mouth to stop the stupids from flowing out of your face. No brain, no stoppy talky mode.
it loses that sense of a definite position and merges with the wider universal pool around it.
First off, we all know you lost all sense many moons ago, and second off, I don't remember what else you said, and you know what? I'm not even going to check. I'm just going to keep writing this bit because it's probably safer for me to not rewatch you talking absolute shit about some sort of universal swimming pool. And oh god, it came back to me. You think that the universe is a swimming pool? Oh. Although to be fair, people do piss in swimming pools and the universe has humans in it, so...
This raises a big question.
Why do I do this to myself? You know, I say it's because you assholes won't stop asking for more, but then I remember I don't do anything just because someone asks. So I must secretly enjoy punishing myself for being such a terrible person. And the only way I can experience true pain is to listen to someone even dumber than me talk.
Is there a point where our soul isn't us and is just a part of the universe instead?
Then that wouldn't be you at all, would it? That would be something else. And you are just you. Boring, simple, plain, uninteresting you. And that other thing is not you and never will be, because that's how being different things works. Although, there's still no such thing as fucking souls, so don't worry about it, you would still be uninteresting anyway.
And what if we're already both?
No, you can't be two mutually exclusive things at the same time. You can't be everywhere and one specific location at the same time. You can't be a physical entity and a bunch of non-corporeal essences at the same time. You are the thing that you are, and anything else is just wishful thinking, you fucking sophistic asshole.
If we were to follow some of the other traditions we've talked about, maybe the core part of our soul, the metaphorical heart...
Traditions do not equal facts. In fact, usually tradition means something that is kinda outdated and pointless, and the only reason we're still doing it is because it makes us feel good for whatever reason. And the metaphorical heart is just the fucking brain, you dipshit. Your feelings and all the jazz that comes out of your head, the only reason anyone likely thought it was the heart was because you require more or less blood flow in your current situation, so it beats faster or slower. But again, that's actually the brain's doing, for fuck's sake.
Is simply some aspect of the universe that has been ejected from the whole temporarily.
You've been ejected from a hole. Seriously, that's the only explanation I'm left with for the sheer quantity of crap that he talks. I theorise that he is in fact the world's first and, atheismo willing, only sentient turd. And thus everything he makes, says or does is just hot steamy shit. Look, it makes more sense than he is a thinking human that does this shit on purpose.
Then some of the other parts, like Aristotle's plants and animal souls, are acquired upon incarnation and add different levels of personality.
I'm sorry, are we collecting souls now? When the did this turn into goddamn Pokemon? Although a shittier version of Pokemon, where you aren't just getting cute/cool looking critters with some charm and personality, but like non-sentient vegetation and, I don't know, probably fucking rocks and shit. And somehow, that meshes with your personality. Although to be completely fair, you do have the intellect of a packet of peanuts, so that might be one way to explain it.
The core parts and subparts of the soul then all work together to make up who we are.
Gotta give him credit. I don't know anyone who can simultaneously introduce a brand new concept and then talk about it like it's a fact without ever attempting to demonstrate that. And how, well, anything about it works. It would be impressive if it wasn't so fucking aggravatingly stupid to the point it makes me want to peel myself.
New Agers tend not to talk about the concept of salvation that much, mostly because it's more of a Jewish or Christian thing.
Yeah, it's exactly because of that. I mean, I know you guys like to just pick and choose shit from random philosophies, but most of the time it's anything but the Abrahamic ones. I think that's mostly because those are what you guys tend to grow up around, and frankly, anything but what mum and dad believe. Unless it's something not completely full of nonsense. You wouldn't want people to think you were an atheist. Yuck!
Yet ironically, in stressing self-development and spiritual advancement, New Age practitioners do actually accept a form of salvation predicated on the evolution of the individual soul in the current and future lives.
That's not what salvation is. That's not even close to what salvation is usually touted as. You don't get to slowly become the better Crimsbian or whatever. You believe that Christy Bobs is your saviour, and if you don't, you can go f*** yourself. This is just the old reincarnation shtick again. And let's not pretend it isn't just as silly as anything else, but that doesn't mean it's the exact same thing.
Though this evolution may take many lifetimes, New Age philosophy looks at it as the ultimate goal of human existence.
Oh, and don't pretend New Age philosophy is anything resembling a consistent, singular worldview. There's no doubt in my mind that you lot have multitudes of completely contrary ideas about how all the different shit works. There is no New Age philosophy, only New Age philosophies, which means that at least most of them are wrong. And I posit the rest of them are too.
When it comes down to it, asking what makes a soul is like asking what makes red red.
Red is red because the wavelengths of light that are reflected into your eyes from a red surface are within the bounds of what we have agreed as the RGB color values that we decided to call red. A soul is a soul because... wait, where's my soul values chart? Oh, there it is. A soul is... bullshit. Well, I guess he's kind of right.
Until we get a better understanding and vocabulary about awareness and consciousness, we won't be able to define it as fully as we'd like.
We have perfectly reasonable vocabulary for what awareness and consciousness is. You just want a bunch of extra horseshit meaningless words that make you feel and sound special, so that you can convince yourself that your entire existence isn't a blight on the planet you call home and the internet at large. But that won't change the fact that you are wrong.
Perhaps though, by studying the nature of awareness and seeing how and why it arises, we will also unknowingly be studying the evolution of the soul.
Alright, you'll just figure out how meaty brains work, because that's all there is. And this soul's garbage will be tossed in the trash like the worthless rubbish it is. I imagine that you'll already be in there as well, but that doesn't mean that you get to use it. You're all going to the landfill, thank you very much.
Maybe in the end, it really is just a matter of people using different words for the same experience. Toodles.
Oh, thank f***ing Christ, another one is finally over. And no, they aren't using different words for the same thing, you're just wrong. Okay, one more over, another far too f***ing many to go. Catch you all next time. I'm gonna go get a drink. Or like 12.
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope, wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel Spoonstaff Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos, and she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was gonna tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the